Talk of Ghana's jaundiced transportation system and the state of the Accra-Tema Motorway comes to mind. Built some 59 years ago, the motorway has outlived its usefulness, and that is evident with its current state. Iron rods used for the highway are now visible. The purpose of street light is to create a lighted environment which will contribute to the safe and comfortable movement of vehicles and pedestrians during the dark hours. But the situation is quite different on the Accra-Tema Motorway. It appears when street lights are fixed, they go missing. Some newly installed street lights in 2021, which were flagged by the Ghana Standards Authority for failing to conform to standards, has disappeared. The Ghana Highway Authority has pointed to vandalism and theft by some unpatriotic citizens as the main reason behind the malfunctioning and absence of street lights on the motorway. In September last year, some solar-powered street lights were erected around the Temaban toll booth, and the purpose was to enhance visibility because most vehicles, particularly haulage trucks, were crashing into the toll booth. 11 months after, these street lights are nowhere to be found. Residents living along the motorway are disturbed about 10 of events.
A hard dream to say I like to be any one. Members are not ni pay trim, ideas and be to crowd going. Say you be cross road, no crown, as if you be Genadia.
The lack of street lights is very worrying. Drivers can easily knock down pedestrians and also theft cases can increase. Government must intervene.
Even during daytime, there are a lot of accidents from the stretch right down to that place. What about what happens in the night? Yes, so that one is a very big concern.
Equally worrying is the ordeal motorists go through plying the highway at night. They have increasingly voiced out concerns over the lack of street lights, which has led to frequent accidents and heightened the risk of theft cases.
Without the street light, I can't see anywhere. So where we have reached now, in fact, I don't know where we are now. So small time, I'll ask the driver, where are we? So you people try to do something over it for us.
But it's very, very bad because unfortunately anything can happen on the way. Some of us are not using, how do you call it, highlights. Some of them too are using their dim lights. So we are appealing to the government to help us with the street lights.
It is very terrible to drive in the night on the motorway. The system seems not to be working and the leaders are just watching on without any intervention.
It will take extreme caution to navigate the Accra-Tema Motorway amid the total darkness. And for some drivers who are not on the lookout, external factors like pedestrians crossing from the sides of the highway could cost them a lot. Road safety expert Dr. Godfred Achinadakwa sees this shortfall not to be limited to motorway, but a national issue.
It is very unfortunate, sad, and I am always dismayed that a motorway, and the only most express motorway in Ghana, has no street lights. It's disheartening. Street lights are good for driving and for road safety. If we have street lights and we have the road markings clearly, trust me, road accident can reduce by a margin of about 55%, even if drivers are driving 100 kilometers per hour. The speed on that road is quite high, and we don't have a single street light.
He wants government to expedite effort in the motorway expansion project.
So if it's going to take about even 1 month for the construction to be completed, and how many people do we expect them to die? One single death in our nation means a lot for the nation, and you should not allow that one to happen. Look at the frequency of accidental death that they keep on reporting daily. And it seems it doesn't bother anybody. I don't know what the road ministry is doing. I don't see what they are doing. Let me tell you something. If you maintain roads, Ghana highways, listen, if you maintain roads, it costs less to maintain roads than to be building and constructing new roads. So let's try to maintain roads when they do it. Now the roads, they do it maximum 4 years, it's gone. Look at motorway, since Kwame Nkrumah did it. Such a wonderful, beautiful motorway. But look at how it is now.
The rehabilitation and expansion of the motorway will take 3.5 years to complete. It's expected that it will come with street lights as part of the project design to illuminate the highway. But should an intervention of lighting the 19.5-kilometer highway hinge on the expansion project completion? George Quenin, TV3 News, Accra-Tema Motorway.
Let's speak to the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety, Dr. Nanayao Akwada. Doc, thank you so much for your time. First of all, what gaps have you identified in the management process of street lights in the country?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I think that, first of all, we need to understand that just throwing monies at public safety problems will not let the problems go away. And your question is spot on, the gaps in the management process. First of all, those street lights, when they are mounted, the community doesn't own it. The city authorities do not own it. They don't take ownership for it. And as well as the road authority does not own it. The street lights become only an issue of public concern when we start recording public safety issues like snatching of people's mobile phones, snatching of people's purses, and so on and so forth. That is the only time that we all rise up and start talking about street lights. But it is important that we all begin to own street lights when they are mounted. We begin to report, people tampering with street lights. We begin to report when cars and other vehicles hit street lights, and bring the city authorities to own these and be, as it were, maintain them from time to time. Otherwise, just like we've seen in several other places of public safety, we will just throw money to it when these problems come up, take our cuts, and we all go to bed until the next time that we all have to come back here and discuss the issue.
Now, how can institutions mandated to manage street lights merge their roles to ensure effective maintenance?
Well, I think the provisions are there in our local governance structures and architecture. It is there. I mean, once we have adequately spelled out how we are going to raise monies to mount street lights, how we are going to raise monies to maintain street lights, there should be somebody who is responsible for it. There should be somebody who owns it. There should be somebody who should be held accountable for it, for which we have said several years back that we believe that the city authority, the TMAs, the KMAs, all of them that you have, they are the ones who should own these street lights, and they must assume accountability for them. We should not sit down and allow every now and then politicians jump into the space during elections. And we are in election year. Between now and December, a lot of the street lights are going to be up and running. But after 6 months later, all those lights will go down again, and it's nobody's business. So we need to have these institutions and creatures of law, as it were, the MMDCEs and so on, all of them own this and held accountable for this. It's not everything that we need to go to central government for it. Indeed, the payments that we make in our electricity bills, all those monies go and they are brought back to the local assembly to disburse them. So we must hold them accountable in order to have our street lights come on.
Doc, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Nanayao Akwada, Executive Director, Bureau of Public Safety.